The big day has come. October 7th, 2022, U.S. Women's National Team versus the Lionesses. And drumroll,
we lost.
But we're going to talk about it in this video. Obviously, it was a controversial game, to kind of say the least.
Aren't they always?
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're going to get into, too. A bit of a controversy, but, England won. The better team won today, and they really did. And so I'm pumped for them. Sara, you were extra American today, Sara.
I don't know what came over me, but I wanted the Lionesses to lose, and I wanted
America to win.
U.S. to win, and I was just, it was wild. I don't know where it came from, but I was out of control.
And the whole game was obviously, what do I say? I want the best team to win.
She was crying in the corner.
But I will say, hard week. We just released the video about the Yates report being released, and they kind of talked about it. It's been such an emotional week, and I don't want the thing to happen, well, if USA lost, it was going to be kind of because of the emotional state they were in, because I don't think that's the way professional athletes really work. I think when game time comes, they come,
Yeah, Pinoe put it best. She goes, I mean, as sick as this sounds, I feel like we're used to having to take on so much more than game plan and tactics. That was Megan Rapinoe on preparing for England after the Yates report.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're used to it,
Right. And it's hard to feel like you just have to be used to it. But with professional athletes, you're always given circumstances that are never easy, ever. So that was kind of the feel for the game, but Wembley Stadium sold out in minutes.
Packed to the brim.
So much energy. And I think a lot of people, they had the thing at the very beginning where they got both sides together. It said protect the players. I mean, I think it was more like we're in this together thing as well, for the both sides. It say protect the players as a whole, There were some notable players that weren't even there, Alex Morgan injured. And Mal Pugh had family commitment. So the lineup really, I don't think that was their ace lineup necessarily. I mean, Pinoe played a lot of the game. I don't think 2 years ago, if you would have said Pinoe is going to start in 2 years, she's going to be a starter, I think anyone would have said, what? You're crazy. You know what I mean? I will say, on paper, England wins every time. I said that when I did my predictions. England is the clear favorites, and I truly believe that. They just won the European Championships. On paper, Lionesses is winning, but that doesn't really mean anything. The pressure was on England to win. I think most people thought they were the favorites, and a lot of people said when we made our predictions, I know I predicted the England was going to win. I think you predicted a tie, which actually could have been what happened if the goal went through. Okay, we're going to talk about that, but I think. On paper, a lot of people said you can never count out the United States, even if you think they're an underdog. You don't want to fool yourself because, it's still the United States. Are they ever truly the underdog? We're not going to go too much over the game. We're just going to hit a few points in the game. Starting out in the first minute, Sophia Smith had a shot on goal within the first minute.
Nice. And
I kind of got hyped up. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is going to be an exciting game. It did turn out to be an exciting game, but that first shot on goal, very exciting. I mean, that kind of set the tone a little bit for the game. It's kind of going back and forth. You would expect the English to have like a lot of nerves, but they really didn't. Were they playing their absolute best? Probably not. But it was
hometown advantage.
It's a
field advantage,
right? Whatever. Yeah, exactly. The first half was pretty back and forth. I'm going to go over some statistics in a second. Then in the ninth minute, England strikes first, and I mean it was a beautiful goal, and the United States' defense kind of let them down a little bit, but it was because of the strength of the English offense as well. They scored. Lauren Hemp, she's their MVP, one of their MVPs. Great goal. The back line did look a little bit confused. People were saying they didn't think Alana Cook had a great game, but they scored. 9th minute, they scored. Then a few minutes later, Pinoe goes for a free kick, and she smacks Lauren Hemp right in the face. I mean, it was immediate. We all know how powerful Pinoe's strike is.
Yeah, that's one ball you don't want in the face.
Yes, she has probably one of the most powerful strikes.
Weirdly, I'd want her to Strike me in the face.
Oh dear.
I'd take a cleat to the cheek.
So she went down and, she got back up, but she was a little bit rattled. That was a hard strike.
I'm surprised she was able to play right after that. And then she, really did go down after the play stopped.
Yeah, exactly. She finished the play and went down. Then in the 19th minute, Emily Fox went down. It looks like she got, I don't know who it was, kind of elbowed her right in the face.
It was Stanway, I believe.
Oh, George Stanway. She elbowed her right in the face, and that doesn't take a player off that often. But she was out. That was it. She was injured. I don't know if it was her jaw or the side of her face, but they took her out, which is not that doesn't happen a lot,
That was very unfortunate for us.
Exactly. So she, Emily Fox is like a backbone of that defense. So she was out. This is Sarah. I'm just doing a little update on Emily Fox. She is actually out of the game against Spain on Tuesday. She's out for concussion protocols. Carson Pickett now is taking her place. So she's officially out. So feel better. I hope she is okay. That was a tough hit, but Carson Pickett is in for this Spain game. Then Hailie Mace comes in, which, she probably wasn't expecting to come in the 19th minute, but she came in, and she was actually pretty pivotal in this game as well, for not the best of reasons, but they're still down 1-0. Then what happens? In the 27th minute, I think?
The equalizer.
Who does it? Sophia Smith. She's been doing it. She is the goal scorer of the team, and it was really nice. I didn't even think it went in based on the angle, but they were pumped. 1-1. It's a game. Those are the kind of games I love. Score, the other team score. Score, the other team score.
I know. Love it.
But 2 minutes later, there was a penalty. A high boot from Hailie Mace. And
high boot to Lucy Bronze's face.
Yes. High boot. Yeah. And the commentator for the United States came on and said they didn't necessarily think that was a card, and that's actually one of the things I want to ask the people who are watching this in the UK. Did the UK broadcasters say the same thing? Some people thought maybe it was questionable, but I think most people said, it's fair. Some people actually didn't think so. Some people actually thought it should have been a red. So 2-1 at that point. Then 35th minute, here we go. We're going to talk about it. We see Sophia Smith to Pinoe. Trinity Rodman Scores, and we're pumped. We're screaming. It's exciting.
Yeah. Then we're sad.
Everyone seemed pumped. It wasn't one of those balls where you say, well, it was close or anything. Everyone's pumped. It's 2-2. It's a goal.
It looked real to me.
Then, as everyone knows, they go to the formation to start again. And that is when VAR says it was offsides.
Their eyes have failed them because I believe it was the wrong call.
And I will tell you, on our side, the broadcasters were pretty shocked. I think it was Allie Wagner. She basically said she did not believe it to be offsides, that she thought it was a bad call. From
the angles I'm looking at, it doesn't look offsides.
I saw someone go, her ponytail was off. Someone's ponytail, a fingernail. So they have VAR to have issues like this, so they have the right call.
Is it always the right call?
On our side, on the American side, the broadcast basically said it was the wrong call. Now,
and I'm not siding with. I'm not listening to what anyone's saying. This is legit. Me being objective, I didn't think that was offside.
I would probably say when I went to the Twitter, the comment sections, I went to a lot of different places online. I would say American fans, 99% was onsides. Or the English fans, I would probably say some of them definitely said it was offsides, but I did see maybe a few said onsides, but that's the way it was called. Based on the rule, it was a very small amount offsides, but it was still offsides. And I saw some English fans that just pretty much said, it might have been onsides, but it was so close, and that's what VAR ruled. This is what I think. Even if it was onsides or offsides, if it's offsides and it got called offsides with VAR, it's offsides. Even if it wasn't technically the correct call, because that's what it was called. And I know that sounds wild, but the moment this happened, I thought about that goal that happened for the Americans over the CONCACAF, where they were playing Mexico, and at the very last minute, they had a goal, and it was offsides. Even the broadcast team said it kind of looked offsides.
Yeah.
But what did we say? We're like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but we got the goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it happens, even if, but do I think it was offsides? Based on the commentators, based on what I'm seeing online, I think it was onsides. So I don't think it was offsides. It should have counted. And I thought that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you get calls that maybe are just not in your favor. But even with all that being said, this shouldn't happen. These incorrect calls are just heartbreaking. Imagine if that were a World Cup final, semifinal, any game in the World Cup. They shouldn't happen. Also, reffing needs to be, top quality. I've been reading about some kind of the rule about it being clear and obvious. That only applies to subjective decisions like penalties, fouls, and bookings. But offsides is different. So should it apply to offsides or shouldn't it? Do you think that should be a rule? But at this point, that's just kind of the way it goes. Sometimes the calls go in your favor, sometimes they don't. Maybe it wasn't offsides, but it was the call. And that's how it happened. That's kind of my opinion. And then Alex Morgan tweeted that
I can't see any offside in that play, and the ref didn't even check the video herself. Anyone else wondering why exactly the goal was called back?
And actually, that's a good point. The ref didn't even check the film. I don't know if she is supposed to or if she's not supposed to in that situation, but maybe that's a rule change that could happen where maybe there is some rules that need to be adjusted for fairness. But yeah, I noticed, she didn't check it either. So kind of bad break for America, but it happens. I do want to know what the broadcast in the UK was saying, though. Did they agree that it wasn't offsides, or they just say it was a harsh call, but they still agreed with it? Basically, it was probably just a tad bit offsides. What did they say over there? So that was the first half. It ended up being 2-1 in the first half. Second half wasn't as exciting. We forgot who scored the PK at the first half.
Stanway.
We forgot to mention, that was a really good PK. She really tricked Allysa Nair on that. I forgot to mention that.
Don't you say Allysa was ever tricked.
I know. But second half, I thought looked good. They each had a few opportunities to really score. As much as the United States on paper didn't look that complete, I really thought they held their own. I think a lot of people thought going into this, England could have been 4-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I really think people thought that. But if you look at some of these stats aren't great for America, but I don't actually think these stats reflect how, for what they were working with, I thought they played pretty well. Mm-hmm. U.S. Women's National Team versus England, lowest possession since 2016 at 31%. 67.7 passing accuracy, third lowest in Vlatko's tenure. 2 shots on target, lowest in Vlatko's tenure. The stats weren't great, but I actually don't think that reflected what we saw on the field. The better team won. It ended 2-1 was the final score. I don't even know if anything specifically of note happened in the second half. I think the first half really set the tone, and it was a fun match to watch, though. They kept saying the English players know each other so well. They know where they're going to be in 2 steps. They know what, they read each other so well. They have been playing together for so long that they just know where each other is going to be. United States, I don't know if this lineup has ever even played with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Pinoe, she played until the, I believe, 83rd minute. So she played a large part of the game. And, I saw her make a couple bad passes, she's kind of sloppy. Mm-hmm. She just was exhausted by the end. People kind of thought Alana Cook didn't look great, but people thought Girma looked really, really, really good. Naomi Girma. So there's definitely bright spots, and I think, is the team they put out tonight a World Cup winning team? I don't think so, but I think with all the other pieces together, they're still very competitive. But I think the best team won tonight. Absolutely. And like I said, as much as is it fair, is it unfair? I still think that they fairly won. Could it have been a bad call? Maybe. Does that happen? Yeah. Just sometimes the bad calls go your way, kind of like CONCACAF for the United States, where we just said, oh, sorry about that, Mexico. We scored. It was offsides, but we did score, so we won. You know what I mean?
Do we need to put the ref in ref jail for a little bit?
Also, the NFL is going to be in London. Is anyone going to the NFL game? It's like the Packers versus, I don't know, I saw Aaron Rodgers at the team.
Nobody
at the game.
even knows what American football is over there. I'm confused.
And Ted Lasso is in the crowd. But what did everyone think? Did the offsides call? Okay, first of all, who thought it was an offsides and who thought it was onsides. And also, even if you thought it was onsides, offsides, is that just the way it goes in football? You know, because I think it was unfair.
Did you cry like me?
But are you kind of like me where I'm just kind of like, you know, it sucks? Or do you think my opinion of hey, it's wrong, but it's still the way it is? Do you think that's a wrong opinion?
It's a lot of questions there.
That was a lot of questions. What did you guys think? It ended up to being 2-1 and great game. We had it was actually a pretty fun game. And I'm going to be honest, even though United States lost, I kind of left the game thinking, okay, on paper, didn't look that good, but we didn't crumble. You know, United States did not crumble. You know, Pinoe was starting. She was out there. Oh, other notable thing, 17-year-old Allysa Thompson played her first cap on a very important game, you know, a very big stage. And I think that's very cool for her.
Yeah, she came in about, 89th or 85th, 83rd minute?
Yeah,
like 83rd,
something like that. She came in. I think that's really cool. But we'll see what happens. They're going to play Spain. Spain actually just played Sweden. It was a 1-1 draw, which I actually was kind of surprised at. But we're going to play Sweden. We're going to play Spain on the 11th. But what did everyone think? I mean, fun game. Were you was your wind out of your sails when they lost? But England was better team. The midfield is where England is. The Americans have a problem with their midfield. The English midfield is amazing, you know. So you're not going to beat that midfield too with our midfield. Questions, comments down below. What did everyone think? It will be on October 11th, so that should be exciting as well.
Yes.
We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great day.
Bye.